Okay, so hi guys. Basically, I have been researching and experiencing a lot of mystical stuff. No, I'm not a witch. I'm not into any of this stuff. I'm just fascinated by it. And I want to understand it because if you know people that do stuff like this, you have to know how to protect yourself. So it's important to know what people might be doing so that you can protect yourself. But aside from that, I just find it fascinating. Like, I'm a knowledge seeker. I love to learn the truth. So right now I'm getting into crystal healing and um, tarot cards, which I've always had the gift for tarot cards. My mom's been reading tarot cards since I was a kid. Um, or she did when I was younger and then stopped. And I have a knack for it. Um, I read oracle cards too. So they're oracle cards, ancestral cards, angel cards, tarot cards, sex fortunes, things of that nature. I think it's fascinating. It's interesting. I'm probably like 80% accurate. Um, so we'll see. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about all of that stuff because prior to meeting these two people in 2014 that I met at a coffee shop or a coffee place that I used to work at, they were really into some crazy stuff, and it scared me a lot. And I didn't understand it, and I was, prior to that, not into any of this stuff. I didn't believe in it. I was like, whatever, I'm just always protected and shielded, and I always was, and I believed that, and I always am. But they just really scared me. They were into some crazy stuff. So I started researching things to learn what they were doing so that I could understand what was going on so that I wouldn't be affected by it. But I'm learning that the more you learn about something or believe in it, the more it can affect you. So I'm not trying to believe in any of this stuff. I'm just trying to learn about it because I want to understand why someone would believe in it and understand how energy works, because we're all made of energy. And I just think this is a very interesting topic. So I started off researching a couple of things on Wicca and Santeria, because that's what these two people did. It was just too much for me. I couldn't keep going, so I stopped. But I got the basics of, like candle magic, because that's what the girl upstairs was doing, and binding spells was doing, and she did something else. I never understood what it was, but she would I think it's like when she smoked weed with people or something, but she got to the point where she would tell somebody what to do, and they did it like they were a zombie. And me and my friend were like, but men. So she was a woman, and I was just like, this is too much. I don't like it. I don't want anything to do with this. And then I cut ties with that person. Then a gentleman came into my life who I think had dabbled into Santeria, or he dabbled into something. I don't know what. I don't know if he was a warlock or whatever. But he was into some stuff. And he was into energy work. So I started looking, because he kept saying I'm all about energy. I'm connected to nature and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. I get that, but the fact that you say it so often makes me be like, red flag, what's going on? So then I looked it up, and I'm like, okay, he's probably Native American. There's a lot of Indians where he's from. He's into all of that stuff. I can respect that, because I feel like the Native Americans and people of nature tend to have a connection to nature. They understand how things work, and they're connected to the spiritual realm. I'm very connected to the spiritual realm. I don't really talk about it. I used to have a friend who was into all this stuff, and she would tell me everything she did, and I never told her anything. And then she's like, you're not spiritual. I'm like, I'm more spiritual than you are. But I just don't talk about it. When I was a kid, I used to see spirits. I used to talk to them. I used to have conversations with them. I met a girl once who's actually a best friend of mine, and we used to sit on the bus and write down what we saw, and it would be the identical same person. So we both saw the same spirits. I haven't been able to do that since I was 15 or 16 years old. And I hope that I can get that back, because I kind of miss being able to talk to spirits, and I just think it's cool that there's a connection between us and another realm. Some people might think that's creepy or scary. I get that. I do understand that. But it's not your world. It's not your gift. And it's not your problem. I don't ask for guidance. I don't ask for anything. I just like talking to people. So it's just interesting to hear what people have to say and what they want to share with you. But I think it would be nice. That's how I know you're never alone. I was never alone. I'm still not alone. I just can't see them or talk to them anymore. But I know they're still there. So there's that. And lately I've been getting, or rather the crystals have been coming to me. So there was a time where my friend's brother passed, and she had an apartment full of crystals that she wanted me to sell. And they called me and they're like, hey, you do eBay selling. Why don't you come help us sell these crystals? We'll give you, a commission. I was like, sure, no problem. And I thought they were going to be like Swarovski crystals, like these little crystal animals and things like that. And then when I got there, I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know amethyst. I didn't know what any of these things were. I worked in the jewelry industry, and I understood the stones, like to make jewelry. Like these are carnelian earrings from the company that I work for. This is a citrine ring from the company that I work for. These are fake plastic beads, but they're supposed to be carnelian, but they're not real. I understood that. But when I saw these big amethyst balls and crystal quartz, and then she had wands, like the obelisks, and pyramids. I'm like, what am I going to do with this stuff? And then I went online and I'm like, oh, this is lucrative. We can make a lot of money. And I started selling them. And he had all this stuff. He had like Tom's toothpaste and boxes of incense and what else? Boxes of soapstone incense holders that I learned later you're supposed to burn sage and stuff in, but I didn't know what these things were for. He had like Wooloo gourds, and he had what else did he have? Pagodas, obsidian pagodas. And I learned all this through research. And this is what I do. This is why I love learning. And people find me, and then I get drawn into this subject, and I become engulfed in it. And I'm like, oh, and then when I'm not overwhelmed. I don't like that word. Some guy was like gaslighting me using that word, and I don't like it. But when I'm done with the researching of that topic, when I feel like it's time for me to move on to something else, then I will go to the next phase. So recently, so the crystals followed me, and I'm like, I don't know why these crystals are in my life, but now that the crystal craze is going on, and these are genuine, authentic crystals. They're not fake. There's so many fake crystals out there. So now I'm actually doing crystal healing, chakra healing, internal healing, and I don't lay hands on people yet. I don't believe in that. I will probably, in my whole lifetime, only lay hands on the people that I love and that I care for, because I have so much healing energy that I want to be there for those people. But I'm not comfortable with laying hands on people I don't know, because even some of the people I know are dark and have some stuff in them. And I'm like terrified of even laying hands on them, but I would to heal them if I needed to. I can only imagine what other people are holding in, and they don't show you. So I'm not really into healing. Also because I'm protected and I'm shielded, right? But when you lay hands on somebody, you're mixing your energy with their energy, and I'm not really comfortable with that yet, and I'm not quite sure how to not absorb any of that. I still absorb some of it, and I'm not ready yet to be able to do that without absorbing some of that energy, and then cleaning myself after something like that. It's too much for me at this point in my life. I really don't like it, and I'm not going to do it until I'm ready. But coaching and guiding somebody to heal themselves, because we all have healing power within us. I don't need to lay hands on you to heal you. I need to teach you how to heal yourself. That's what I do. So I take the crystals, I sleep with them. I sleep with them on my hands. I see how they work. I see how they affect me. I see what they do. I see what other people say that they do. I look at the region that they're in. I only buy crystals from certain places. I believe in buying them from like India and Africa. I'm not a big fan of China and Brazil, because there's a lot of man-made crystals there, a lot of fake crystals, and I don't trust it. Let's say it. Now, the kyanite from Brazil, I do believe, and I like, but all the other stones, for some reason, they all look like agate or dyed fluorite to me. They don't look like genuine specimens of real crystals. They look dyed or heated, and I don't want to deal with that. So there's certain regions in Africa and certain regions in India that I've been working with, and I trust those crystals. I'm starting a subscription box company where you can order a box. Every month you'll get an essential oil, a crystal, and some worksheets for self-love, self-care, or whatever the topic is for that box, so that you can actually do that process. There might be an online video or a tutorial. There'll be little cards with instructions that you can use, or I might just say, like, go to this link, and then it'll give you like all the instructions that you can print out. I haven't decided what it's going to be like yet. I'm still in the process of making it. I'm looking to launch it in January or February of 2019. But I'm taking these crystals and these essential oils and creating this healing kit, and I'm going to offer that to people so that they can get to the next level of their journey, or enhance a specific step that they're on, or be open to something new. And you know what? If it's not for you, if you get a box and you don't love it, give it to someone else, because I guarantee you, it may not have been meant for you. It may have been meant for you to give someone that needs it, and you didn't know that they needed it. So when you mention it, they'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then you give it to them, and it changes their life. And you were just the conduit, because sometimes it's just how it is. We are just conduits. What else? So I got into the crystal healing now. I'm engulfing myself in that. I'm learning about every single kind of crystal: jasper, chalcedony, agate, iron ores, ages, the difference between man-made crystals and natural crystals. Obviously, they have different vibrational energies. Which crystals are being used as fakes? How to identify them, actually touching and feeling them and saying, like, this isn't carnelian, this is dyed something else, fluorite. Or, like, I could look at a stone and be like, that's not citrine. That's not even dyed, heated amethyst. This is actually fluorite. And they're just saying that it's citrine because it's yellow, and people don't know any better. They pass a lot of fluorite for celestite as well. So I did make a video a while ago. It's not as in-depth as it could be, but I did talk about crystals. The tarot cards and the readings, it's just natural. I have been opening myself to the universe and connecting with it and clearing out my chakras, which I told a very dear friend of mine. I was like, you need to clear your chakras. You got to align them. And I've been telling that to a lot of people. And like, once that was done, I was able to like hear, like, not voices, but just like advice, like, do this, do that. And I feel like by listening to these voices, or these spirit guides, I'm actually getting more done, and I'm finding more success, and I'm finishing everything that I started. I actually have a project that I'm doing that you guys will hear about in January. I'm doing it for 30 days. I'm putting it online at the end of the 30 days. It's going to be really interesting, so look out for that video. It's going to be a culmination of short videos that I made every day for 30 days. And then from there will come more. And again, this is just the energy and the motivation and that boost that I'm getting from working with crystals. Maybe it's a placebo effect from reading everything and then having the crystal near me and thinking, like, well, this is what it's supposed to do, so then maybe that's what it's doing. Or maybe it's genuine energy. At this point, I'm just going with it, so I'm happy. And that's basically where I am on my spiritual journey. I was very open and awake and aware. Everything that I believed, without anybody telling me, without any influence, is what's coming to light now that everybody's talking about. I find that Dolores Cannon was speaking about all the things that I believed, that I came into this world believing, all these things that I've written about in my journals when I was a kid. She spoke about that stuff, and I saw her videos later on in life. So I think it's just fascinating how in tune I am with people who are spiritual. I've never had a problem talking to people about spirituality. Everyone's like, I can never find anybody to talk to about this stuff. I can't not find anybody to talk to about this stuff. I start talking about it and they're like, oh girl. And then we start talking and then it's just like, it doesn't stop. So I've never had that issue. I don't know what it feels like to be in a room and not be able to talk about it. I'll just start talking about it. And even if people look at me like I'm crazy, which they don't, they're actually more fascinated and curious. they join in too. They're like, oh, well, my cousin said this, and I knew some girl that knew a woman who, lived down the block from this lady, like, and it's like, oh, so we all have stories. People talk about evil eyes, people talk about religion, they talk about God, all those stories in the Bible, all those stories in every religion that are, that have to do with, physics and alchemy and magic and miracles and angels, and that they're all interrelated. It's just perception, how you perceive it, whether or not you believe in aliens, whether or not you believe in God, whether or not you believe in spirits. I believe in everything. I do. I do. I think that, if you tell me a story, I will believe it. I'll be like, really? Because I don't think there's any impossibilities. I think, like a friend told me, we are limitless creatures. We have been taught to be limited from the moment we're on this earth, which is so sad. And we have to learn to be limitless creatures again. And the way you do that is by learning your spirituality, exploring your spirituality, and trying different things and seeing what works for you. We're not all, maybe we are, all meant to do the same thing or different things, but we all have different gifts that we're really good at. And it's taking that strength and building on that. And some people take things that they're not good at and they build on that. Are we all capable of everything? I think we are. But some people just have natural abilities that they don't understand that are their gifts. And that is a blessing that you need to work on, I believe. But that's all I have to say. I really don't have anything else to say. I just wanted to share that with you guys. It is a beautiful day, and I have a beautiful life, and I'm very grateful. And I thank you all for being part of it and welcoming me into your home or your TV or your computer or your phone for this moment. So thank you very much, and that's what I have to share. Bye.